All right, MYB, welcome back. We're at episode number 251 of the Minding Your Business podcast, entrepreneurship, real estate, trending news. There's no business like minding your own. I'm your host once again, Champ Ron, recording this on March the 3rd of 2021. We're coming up on a year that we've been dealing with this whole kind of COVID pandemic environment. So I hope this is catching you in good spirits and good mind and body and soul as you listen to this particular episode. Continue to support the podcast, subscribe, 5-star, 5-star. That helps us to continue to grow the MYB community. And of course, you can check me out at champronbrooks.com. Listen, I've got a special guest, one of the legends, not even just of the music industry or anything, just a business and just, someone who shaped culture, for many of us, man. And we're going to get into a lot, that you're going to learn today. But my God, Joaquin Dean is in the building, the founder and CEO of Ruff Ryders Entertainment, as well as the Ruff Ryders to the Rescue Foundation. We're going to get into all that. And, this is big time for me. Like all my interviews are, I'm playing with house money, as MYB community. But, this one's big for me. It's epic. And so, wow, man, thank you so much for taking time. I know there's a lot of places you could be, man, but to be right here with all of us, man, is tremendous.
I mean, I appreciate you having me, Ron. It's all good. I'm here to support the cause. We appreciate you supporting us and coming on board, Ron. So, let's have some fun with it. Let's enjoy this. Let's enjoy this ride.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Let's do it. Let's jump in, man. For people that are not familiar, you and your family are kind of on the cusp, on the genesis a lot of things that happen in hip hop and hip hop culture, man. There in New York, which is the original birthplace of the culture. And so, talk to us a little bit about, kind of that upbringing and kind of you all's involvement, in hip hop from the very beginning, man, because I think it's fascinating, the journey that you all kind of helped really usher in, for the rest of us.
Yeah, so basically, I was born in the Bronx, New York, where hip hop started. It was birth. And Kool Herc is the pioneer of hip hop.
Yeah.
I used to live my family used to live on the 3rd floor, and Kool Herc used to live on the 2nd floor. My room, me and my brother's room, was right directly over Kool Herc's room, where he had all his loud speakers in his room and he played music all day. So we was pretty much born in hip hop. We used to take the Kool Herc's records out to his car all the time. His mother used to babysit me and my brother. So, we was really in the middle of hip hop, and we didn't even know that we really was being born in it. And so, it just followed us. We went on our journey after that, and, end up in many places and just got, indoctrinated into hip hop later on in our careers as we was moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And so then you get, to this point where you launched a company, man, with Ruff Ryders. And, that was in '88 at a time when, hip hop was just starting to get, kind of on the front of the social consciousness, you know what I mean? From kind of more of that underground kind of piece, going back to Run DMC and, that kind of era, man. And you're kind of ushering in this new era as you get into the late '80s. So, what was kind of the mindset and thought process behind Ruff Ryders, man? It's a tremendous name of a company, you know what I mean? And, I've heard you tell this story, in some other interviews, man, but just to share with this audience, man, how did that, what was kind of that genesis of Ruff Ryders?
Well, Ruff Ryders, it got birthed by my mother. She just happened to have to be with her in the house, and she was watching this cowboy movie, and it was called Ruff Ryders. So we birthed it through that. As I'm watching the cowboy movie, I'm like, yo, Mom, this cowboy movie crazy. It's a black cowboy movie. And they doing it real big. And at the end, it said RLUGH, Ruff Ryders. And I was like, oh, Mom, that's it right there. She was like, yeah, ride or die. So, shout outs to my mom. She kind of pretty much birthed the name Ruff Ryders, Teddy Roosevelt and all that. So we pretty much started. She birthed the name. We got the name, from her. I was under special effects before, but and then when I after we got the name, you know, because now we was really hunting for a name. The name represented us so well, because you
Yeah.
know, being a Rough Riders is part of a struggle, and
Yeah.
start of you know, a family that actually stick together. So we was doing everything just was falling in line. You know, it's just taking time to get there. But
Yeah.
the Rough Rider name is that's how it was birthed, and then just being a Rough Rider in itself, it was all based off of family. You know, it was all based off
No
of family
doubt.
and hot talent. You had to have a lot of talent to come up in here and be, you know, we wasn't playing with you. You know, everything was
Right.
extreme. X was extreme. The locks was extreme. Everything we did
Heavy.
was extreme. You know, so it had to be the
Yeah.
best of the best.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And we want to get to that. I want to speak to the kind of that talent piece because, you know, you start the company, right? And we talked about kind of where the landscape was. You know, West Coast music was really picking up in hip hop, right? As you got into the late 80s and certainly into the early 90s. So, you know, talk about that, you know, as it related to your business starting out. Did y'all feel any kind of certain way about that or kind of pressure as, you know, the movement was, it was kind of, you know, really growing, and I guess from a popularity standpoint, right, on the opposite coast, on the West Coast, as you're kind of launching there in New York, man? Did that kind of have any kind of influence, or, you know, what's kind of your thoughts
Yeah,
there?
West Coast was popping. They had that, you know, that whole Easy E and all of them had Ruthless Records, Death Row, Jockey Trade,
Facts.
and all of them. They was killing them. You know, fuck the police, everything. They had it popping. We
Right.
was inspired by the West Coast. The West Coast was putting in that street hardcore vibe, and it really just, you know, it resonated with us because we was in the streets. We was hustling and doing everything we need to do in the streets. So we definitely shout out to the West Coast for showing a lot of love. They was
Yeah.
putting in so much work that we even had a meeting with Suge Knight, and he's, you know, he came to Yonkers to meet
Yeah.
DMX and everything. So we was looking to do some business with Suge. He presented us a contract. So we
Yeah.
flew us out to up to up to the West Coast when, you know, when Pac and all them and Snoop and it was at their peak, and
Right.
we were signed to them, but the contract wasn't what it was for us, because I
Yeah.
couldn't, you know, Drain and wanted to produce everything and do all that, but I
Right.
didn't want to do that deal because I had my own producers, and that we had our own label, so we didn't want to be overshadowed in a death row situation. So, but
Yeah.
we were definitely cool with them though. But we loved the West Coast. They was representing at the highest level of music. It was really an epic moment.
Yeah, no doubt, Wad. And just to piggyback off of that, did you, you know, a lot of times in the media, right, there's this portrayal of Suge and kind of Death Row as kind of being, you know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about, kind of this, you know, like you talked about with Ruthless, that they were, you know, really heavy in that piece and kind of influential in, you know, from a, you know, physical standpoint, you know, a lot of times outside of the business. You know, did y'all feel any kind of pressure there, or was it more kind of this mutual respect, you know, that you had between, you know, business people, that, you know, a lot of that stuff that gets portrayed sometimes really didn't exist?
Yeah, with Sugar and we ain't had no problems and no disrespect. You know,
Yeah,
real recognize real. So, you know, we didn't have no problems with
facts.
Sugar. You know, we Sugar, you know, he'll say it in his interviews, the realest cats he met in the music industry was the Rough Riders. So, you know,
Facts.
we really street cats that actually got street codes and respect in our
Right.
our movement. So, you know, when he met us, you know, he seen that we move a certain way, and we was really from where we talked about, where we came
Right.
from, we lived. So they know that we live what we speak. So it was all love.
Yeah.
Should definitely didn't give us no hard time. You know, he pressed a lot of cats, but we was nobody to be pressed.
Right.
We just was cool people. That's all.
Yeah, no shit, no doubt about it, no doubt about it at all. And so, Darkman X comes into play, man. Who, in my opinion, is one of the more talented dudes to come in. You know, not just in rap, but just overall, man. Just to show up on the scene. And I told you a little bit about my backstory, man. I was young during that era, man, as y'all were coming up, but, you know, very impressionable, and, first time I came across him was the freestyle he did against Jay-Z. You know what I mean? And even before that, where he
The
had the
battle joint?
mixtapes. Yeah, the battle joint where he was. It wasn't at the tunnel, but it was. I guess it was over in the Bronx, where.
Oh, the joint when we did the battle in the Bronx when he came from Baltimore, we drive him out from Baltimore to come do the battle in the
Yeah.
Bronx. Yeah,
Right. Right.
that was an epic moment. That was definitely epic.
Yeah, no doubt about it. But talk about when you first got introduced to DMX, man, and kind of what your thoughts were about him. Now, this is back in the era. Just for those that are young listening to this, this is back in that era where you had you recorded, you had your tape. You know what I mean? You might show up to someone like you, and here's my tape, man. Will you listen to me? See what you think. That sort of thing. It was long before that. Where you just go on to Apple or SoundCloud or something like that, and a cat's got a whole album already done. And he's got all this movement. This is back
Yeah,
when they was real hungry. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
talk about X for them early days.
X was in the streets. He was doing mixtapes every day. He was out there just making mixtapes, dissing people all day long. That was his thing. He'll
Yeah,
make 2-3 mixtapes a week. He was out there just putting out his mixtapes, selling his mixtapes, battling people. But I met him through my man Tiny. You know what I'm saying? I was
yeah,
out in the streets of Mount Vernon. I was out there, throwing bricks at the penitentiary. And
yeah.
basically, I ran into Heavy D when Heavy D, rest in peace. He was
Rest in peace.
yeah, he was pretty much doing real big things in the music industry, and I knew him before he was in the music industry. I asked him when he came to the Shabazz restaurant, how can we get in the game? So he told me, yo, I ain't gonna promise you anything or guarantee you shit. He said, you just make a hit record, you make it an artist you believe in and make a hit record,
Yeah,
and the industry come to you. I said, that's it. He said, yeah, that's it. So that's how I was inspired. And then my man Tiny gave us the DMX tape he had, mixtape he had in his pocket. And
yeah,
then he gave it to Have gave it to me. And then that started my journey with X. So X, I went to go see X that night, that day, and then we was lock and load ever since. I was just being there for X, working with him under his conditions. He was always robbing people and wilding out. But
right.
X was a movie. We had to put a lot of time into X. Yeah,
Yeah,
everything was something with X, but we always was
right.
there for him to work with him. But X he's the truth though. He would battle for 3, 4, 5 hours.
Yeah.
We have fun with X, man. We enjoy working with him.
Yeah, no doubt. And working to kind of develop him, what was that business like? When you first getting him on, he's hot in the streets, that kind of thing. While what was the business like? If someone wanted to do a record with him, say for example, even before that first album, what would that business look like? Use me for example. I come in, I'm Puff or somebody like that, and I say, man, you got X, man. I want to get him on a track. I've got this, track ready with, maybe with this artist or whatever. How would we negotiate that business? Would I approach you with a number and kind of, some paperwork, or
I mean, it's
you
all
drawing
based
that
on.
up? Or
Well, first thing, X guy want to do it. If X really
right,
want to work with the artist, if he really want to do it, he'll let us know. Vice versa,
right,
it'll be more, yo, I want to do a feature with this artist or this artist, may be on or not on. X is really
right.
about the music with X, and the vibe with the person. Once you find out
Facts.
that, then it's a they want to do it. Then we identify, it's a feature. What's the label or whatever we're gonna work with to make it
Yeah,
happen. It's a production company, it's a management company, it's an independent deal, it's a major deal. What is at the table? It's an open budget or it's a closed budget or it's independent budget. Whatever it is, it's
facts.
just a favor, it's just a feature for the love. So, it's really just identifying what exactly it is that we want to do. So if we do a deal with if Def Jam from another artist from Def Jam want to do something with X and do a feature,
Yeah,
then we'll work out the legal logistics, get the lawyers and everybody to take care of it. The artists will go in there
sure.
and make the music, keep it creative separate from the legal. And then,
Yeah,
we'll meet their management, we'll meet them and we'll just take care of the business with the companies, make sure that everybody is, on the up and up while the artist is making hit records together. So, it's really just all about, streamlining the lawyers and the management team to make sure that we close the deal that's fair
Right. No,
for the artist.
facts. Yeah,
So that's
no doubt.
basically how that flows.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And at the same time, obviously, you've got the administrative piece of the business. You got everything that goes around it that makes it work, right? You got your administrative people, you got your A&R folks, you
Yeah, so
got your
yeah,
everybody.
you got your general managers, you got your A&Rs, you got your marketing team, you got your radio promotions, marketing and promotions. You have social media, you have all these different elements. You got your management company that you actually have. So we multitask multiple companies, and you kind of pretty much make sure everybody's communicating on different levels. You got your publishing thing that you do. You have your
Yeah,
publishing. You got your legal lawyer that you got to make sure the lawyer is on deck. Make sure you got the accountants and stuff like that in the works. So
yeah,
you can make sure your account receivables and accounts payables is accurate. Just really just put it in perspective.
yeah, yeah, no doubt about it. And so X hits, man, it's dark and hell is hot. Which is still heavy, heavy out here in rotation, man. Even in these streaming days, now I mean I've got my whole thing set up, with my X music that, I'm riding to, and those songs, were at a time, for me and many people that are listening, I think that hit what in '98. Was that '98 when that hit?
Yeah, 98,
Yeah,
99.
yeah. So
It's dark
you
and
know,
hell is hot. We hit them with 18 songs on that joint. We got off on
y-
that album.
yeah.
The
So
album
you go,
epic.
yeah, you went berserk. You know what I mean? And Ruff Ryders anthem hits, and then Get at Me, Dog. It's just hitting everybody in the mouth. You know what I mean? Did you all expect that? You know what I mean? And did you get caught up even in the hype of that? Because from me, from the fandom standpoint, right, it's hype. We lit. You know what I mean? Because and just to give a little perspective, for those listening, it hits at a time when it's needed, right? Because you had the whole Pocket Biggie situation, and there was some uncertainty in how things was gonna go going forward. You know what I mean? With the impact of that, and then here, man, as soon as that kind of goes past where it goes past, here, X hits. You know what I mean? Which brings that energy and that fire, that I think had been missing in a little bit of a lull, kind of between those periods, man. So, while talk about
Yes.
that period of that first album.
So, so you look at it, we came into transition when Biggie and Pac had passed away.
Yeah,
Rest in peace to those brothers. They put
rest
they
in
put an
peace.
epic they put an epic moment out for at their time. They was doing their thing. They had the
Facts.
airwaves on lock. When they
Yeah,
passed away, it was a void in hip hop. We was
yeah,
actually being, we was put right into that void.
yeah,
We came in as dark and hell is hot, hit them in the head with that joint. That
yeah,
put us in, that was a game changer because hip hop was just not it at that after those guys passed away.
yeah,
And then we came in and did our thing, and with X, it was just a lot of anticipation on trying to who's going to revise hip hop.
right.
And then in the way we went about it was we already was waiting for 12 years. We was already working for 12 years. So
Yeah,
we had music galore. We had so much music that one album was just one album out of 2,000 songs we already had.
right.
And so we just waiting for our moment to actually get the opportunity to get on. When my man Irv Gotti got on with Def Jam, and he went over there because he was one of our producers. He was the A&R for Def Jam. He told Leo and Russell Simmons he know where the best artist is. He brought him
Right.
to us in up in Yonkers in a studio in Powwow Studio, and it was an epic moment. They sat down with us, and we made a lot of history. X was performing for Leo, and his jaw was broken, and
Yeah.
they signed him on the site. They wanted to
Mm.
do that deal, and then we just filled in the void. The hip hop, I just believe a good belief that timing is everything. You
Facts.
know, just don't never give up and just keep working. So X was ready. We had all our producers on deck. We was more ready than ever. So
Yeah.
we just waiting our turn, and then we got our
Right.
turn, and we stepped up to the plate.
Now, you
You
know,
know,
you just said a word there, Wah, because you started the company back in '88 and X hits, from a heavy standpoint in '98. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
there's that 10-year period of you all working in the trenches, developing. You mentioned having like 2,000 songs to be able to pull from. And so, I think that's a good message for those that are listening that it may have seemed, because I admit from my standpoint it's almost like for a lot of people, like X hit out of nowhere, like boom, it was like overnight. But people don't realize, I think they come back to realize now, the work that was put in all that time. It wasn't no overnight type of thing where you just walk in and you just have all these hits, right? It's years of working and development. And I think a lot of people in business today, they think that it's supposed to happen right overnight. Like I'm supposed to just create my brand logo and then tomorrow I'm supposed to hit. You know what I mean? And then when it don't hit like that, then I either drop out or I'm frustrated or whatever. And a lot of people now, I think, don't like to put that work in like that.
yeah. That work ethic is important. You got to have a lot of patience in this business and any business. You got to be willing to go the distance, because if you don't, you're gonna be discouraged. You take this as a journey. When you open up a business, it's a journey. It's a platform that you're building, and it takes time to build it. And when
Right.
take the hits, you gotta take the bitter with the sweet. And sometimes it don't happen overnight. And this generation is a little different. They got social media, so they might be able to jumpstart some projects a lot quicker,
Yeah.
because they have access to social media. So it's a little bit different on this tip on as entrepreneurs. So just being an entrepreneur, so you got to have a lot of courage of taking losses and a lot of courage of having success. You just got to have a lot of bandwidth and your patience,
Yeah.
because it don't it ain't for everybody. Because you don't work for a check. Being an
Right.
entrepreneur, you don't work for a check. You work to do business. And
Yeah.
when you're working for a check, you're in more of a comfort zone than
Yeah.
actually being an entrepreneur, that you don't know when the next check coming, right?
Right.
And
Exactly.
so you don't have to know who you are, what you
Yeah.
can what you can put up with. But yeah, the business, man, when we started with Ruff Ryders, took us 10, 12 years to really get our official break. Plus, we hustling for our lives, because we didn't want to go to jail for life or prison and all that stuff. So,
No
and
doubt.
we was in those streets, so we was like, yo, we trying to get up out of here. So
Right.
I'm just trying to, I just have faith in God and faith in yourself,
Facts.
and just keep working. You know what I'm saying? Just work until you do it for the love. You do it, and you try to make the best of it and build a good team. Most important, make sure you got a great team around you that
Exactly.
actually all has the right intentions to
Right.
pull it off. So if you got a whack team, and you won't get whack results.
Yeah, there
You
it
got
is.
you got to have a dope team, man. And sometimes it takes time for you to develop a team, because everybody don't have the same passion as you have.
Right. Yep, exactly. And that goes across, basically every facet of business and from a personal standpoint too. You know what I mean? You got to have the right people around you, and you got to be able to have the courage to change that out when it's not working. And I know that you all were able to do that. As a family owned, family ran business, you had to make tough decisions. Along that way, along that early journey, and then even once the success hits, I'm sure while y'all had to make some really tough decisions on some things that
Yeah.
may even been heartfelt to some extent, but the decision had to be made. You know what I mean? And you had to have the courage and the tenacious focus to be able to do that, understanding what your vision is and what your goal is. So, talk about that a little bit, about how it was to have to make those tough decisions, even as the success and the notoriety and the money and all that is coming in. How you're still able to kind of keep your soul and kind of keep your your direction on your vision.
Yeah. So
Even as you have the success.
basically, what we did was we have family in the mix. So every entity, there's so many moving pieces. Once you
Right.
have success, it's like overwhelms you. So
Yeah.
when you have a lot of success, you have a lot of distraction, right? And
Yeah.
your vision, and then you got way more people that got input. So they try to switch it all around. Everybody's got an opinion, and now you just like
Right.
all over the place. And so you're making a lot of decisions. So what saved us is that we always have family involved in every room. So we
Yeah.
will already be like, well, you go work with film and video, you go work with marketing and promotion, you go work with the radio and the studio, you go work with bookkeeping. So we always put people that actually was related to us, that understand our vision, in
Yeah.
rooms in all these different areas. So whoever didn't get it, that somebody was there. We had eyes and ears there to actually make sure that everybody stayed up and up on our situation. So we did that a lot. We had my uncle
Yeah.
doing the bookkeeping, so he worked with the bookkeepers from the record, for the major labels and stuff like that. So we kind of paired everybody up,
Yeah.
and that kind of kept us ahead of the curve. And you got to look at it. We was learning the business as we was earning it.
Yeah.
We never had internships, and we was actually learning, we was in the music business before we got our break. We was just, we was just doing music, but we wasn't in a place where we had any type of any type of rehearsal. Right? It wasn't no setup. Like when Puffy got it, he worked under Andrew Harrell. Andrew
Right.
Harrell walked him through the whole process, so he was able to learn a business from scratch. When we got on, it
Yeah.
was straight from the street
Yeah.
into the game. So we playing the championship game, like, yo, y'all playing LeBron tonight. It's on. We
Right.
like, what? We play soccer. We know this game, but we don't know this game. So
Right. Right.
we playing like, all right, well, we come to win. So
Yeah.
however it
Just
go
go
down,
hard.
we gonna learn as we try to learn the game. But we
Yeah.
came to win. So we was learning the business as we was earning it. But really, with excellent, I mean, with the business is really the business is just based off of just really picking a good dope team, right? So man,
Right.
as your day-to-day office, your day-to-day team, you have to just pick a solid team. You got your lawyer, your bookkeeper, you have your standard management team. Just really basically you have to have a standard team that you work with that actually can help you put it in perspective. But that's
Yeah.
when you're having a lot of success. There's so many people come from the woodworks. When you're starting from scratch, you got to keep your overhead low,
Right.
and then you start and grow. You know what I'm saying? And you always try to keep your overhead low as much as possible. Then we
No
had
doubt.
entourage. So when we came out, you got to look at it. I lost a lot of money, because
Mm-hmm.
I got an artist like DMX screaming, I got 730 niggas ready to bury niggas, and he going to every city talking about New York niggas is the wildest. So
Yeah.
now we got to prove that we wild. Like, all right,
Right. Right.
even though
Exactly.
we wild, we gonna. So now we got to live up to every city we go to. We got to live up to this. So
Facts.
we had a lot of bail money and stuff that happened.
Right.
Took a lot of losses. Entourage, we had to do that. My pops, we said, yo, y'all got these entourage. I said, Dad, man, we gotta have you want us to come back in the pine box, or you want
Right.
to, how you want to do it? Because these guys out there, man, they not trying to hear nothing. You talking
Right.
all craziness, flesh of my flesh, blood of my blood, and you
Yeah.
talking about, crime story. You just talking real. Exodus talking crazy. All our artists talking crazy. So we
Right.
have a mean entourage. So our entourage was kind of crazy. It kind of affected our bottom line financially, but
Sure.
it was worth it. I wouldn't have did it no other kind of way.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of people can't always relate to the situations that can arise, right? That sometimes you get put in, and you got to be prepared to defend yourself and defend your honor when you're placed in situations, oftentimes that get brought to you because of, what I mean, the culture and the lane that you're in. You know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah.
a construction worker knows, when he or she is suiting up to go build that building, right? That there are beams that could fall. You know what I mean? There's nails are being shot. You know what I mean? It's different than when you go into to the office and there's a computer there and you sit in a cushy chair. You know what I mean? There's different things you got to prepare for. You know what I mean? When you're in the trenches like that.
Yeah, we was heavy. We was heavy in the trenches, man. I went to one club, and the whole club was shaking. There was so many fights in this club. We had to fight our way out of this damn club. I was so like, yo, the whole building was shaking. I'm like, yo, I thought it was an earthquake in this motherfucker. They was fighting every floor was fighting.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, we ain't get, because we had left, but then somebody got, we strong believe we can't leave nobody behind. So we had to go back into the club to find this other person that was left there. We got in there, we found them. But now the fight started. Now we got to fight our way out. I'm like, damn, man, this thing, man. They was playing music, playing our music, and playing other music. So we had a lot of incidents that was crazy. But but the crazy thing is, the business. Make sure your business is tight. Make sure you take care of your business. Look out for your trademarks. Make sure you do your trademarks. Make sure you tie your camel. Because you don't want your publishing, make sure you cover your publishing, make sure you just, you got your bookkeeping stuff straight, get the right bookkeeping, a financial team. So when you just got to put a dope team together that works well with you and you'll be all right in this business.
Right. Exactly. You got to have that positive vibes around you, that positive energy, right? That's all pulling in the same direction. You know what I mean? You can't have nobody rowing in the opposite direction when you're building your team, you know what I mean? Or you can't have nobody in your boat poking holes, you know what I mean? In the bottom of it when you're moving.
You got a lot of people, you got the gift and the curse, you know what I'm saying? You got good people, you got bad people. Some people don't know your vision. So usually when you have a vision, most people don't really get it, because they don't see what you see. And some people can't vision what you vision, because you have a vision. It's your goal, it's your dream. Some people get off course. You got to tell them, nah, don't do that. That's going to take us off course. They think it's something else. You tell them they don't get it. They tell you they get it because they watching you, but they really don't get it on that high level, right? So, sometimes you just got to relieve yourself, center yourself with people that really walk in faith with you, because I had a lot of people walk in faith with me. When I was walking, I'm telling you, listen, this is going to happen. They be like, well, how? And because statistics say this, and this going to happen. I said, I don't know about statistics. I don't care about statistics. This is happening, and it's going to happen. It's going to happen like this. So I don't care what you say. It's going to get done. And I think you just, when you got that passion and that you really going for it and you don't care, and you just you just walk in faith and you just going hard, everything gonna come to you, man. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna come to you because you believe. Your belief system is unbreakable.
Yeah, see, I call that tenacious focus. I did an episode on that. Yeah, it's that tenacious. When you're tenacious about something, you go hard for it. You know what I mean? Distractions don't. You know what I mean? You're not bothered every time the wind change or when anybody say something, or you know what I mean? Like you're tenacious, and then it goes alongside with your focus. Right.
Yeah, that's it.
You don't have the squirrel mentality where, and that's easy to have, I think, particularly in the entertainment business. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Every time a squirrel run by, you jump on it. You know what I mean? Like, and you saw people in this entertainment business, right? Yeah, that squirrel mentality. You seen them. You know what I mean? A lot of people didn't make it like y'all.
You looking at the squirrels every time they run by, they jumping on the curb. Leave that shit alone. Don't worry about the squirrel. You don't know. He don't know. He can't even find a nut.
Right, you can't get right. That's exactly how they are, man. They watch every squirrel that runs around, and you miss on opportunities. Right. It's just like if y'all, you having success with an artist, and all of a sudden you sign this artist that don't fit the culture of Ruff Ryders, but you think can bring what this person can make money, or this person fits this demographic, or can bring us this demographic. So that's what happens, like you say, what I call like chasing squirrels. People do that in their business. Like right now during COVID, you got people chasing stuff because it looks good, and but it's not what they do, but because they see somebody else doing it, or they think someone else is gonna like it, and that's that squirrel mentality, man. And you guys have this focus. You have, because there's like you mentioned earlier, whether it's an artist, whether it's someone in your office sweeping the floor, right? They're all a part of your culture, right? And they all have to be a fit. And quite frankly, winning teams, teams that have winning culture, they have people that they're a fit. You think of like a basketball team, from the man selling beer, he does it with excellence, right? You know what I mean? The down to LeBron on the court. Yeah. Yeah, they're the best at what they do. And that's the mentality they come to the game with. The guy selling the beer knows I'm not on the court. That's not my role. My role is to make sure that these people are taken care of. And I want to be the best. I want to be better than the guy selling beer in Detroit or the guy selling beer in L.A. or Phoenix or whatever. Yeah, whoever that guy is or that woman, that I want to be better.
Yo, and that's another thing, that mindset. I see people, when we came up, when we work hard, right?
Right.
Our work ethic is impeccable, right? But we wouldn't allow anybody around us to take a L in front of us.
Facts.
Right? So if you losing and it's gonna affect me, I'm raising hell. You will not actually. I will not say to you, "Well, that was your fault." Like, no, nigga,
right?
Everybody's fault now.
Right.
I'm going to be affected by that, and
right.
if you lose, then I lose. You whack, I'm whack. That means I got to make you step up to your plate. So if I got to slap you around every day, you're going to get this right, or you're going to get up out of here. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because, and so I notice a lot of people, they like more finger pointing and just like, well, that's their fault and they should have done. I'm like, oh, hold up. Where I came from, you got beat up for this type of shit. You couldn't even, if you didn't do your job, somebody was whipping you out because it was like, yo,
that's going to be a problem.
You making us look bad. Like, I'm all the way in Cali, and all we didn't have internet and all that, right? Yeah. So all we had is our word, right? And our word was all we had. So when we make the phone call and say, yo, be there at such and such time, such and such time, or handle this, this, and this, and you say it's done, that means that is done by any means necessary.
Yeah.
So, if something was going to go wrong in the process of it, you was going to get a phone call. Zing,
Facts.
Yo, I don't know if I'm going to pull this off because such and such didn't do what he's supposed to do. Well, how you going to handle it? Well, how we going to handle it? I'm going, don't tell me how you going to handle it. Just get it done.
Just get it done. Right.
It was going to get done.
Yeah.
Right? Because I'm over on the West Coast somewhere in another country representing us because I'm a reflection of you and you're a reflection of me. So wherever I go, I'm there because you there.
Right.
So you need to represent me. I'm gonna represent you. You gotta be hard body with this. I don't see that with a lot of people nowadays. Like, yo, you're a reflection of me, man. And if you lose, I lose, vice versa. We can't lose. And if we lose fighting, then we fought a good fight.
Yeah, we lose together, right?
We lose together. As a family. We had a good fight. We went down in flames. But it was all for the love, but not because you finger pointed and said I didn't do it because that person didn't do it and I didn't like them. I'm like, who is these
excuses?
People?
Right, excuses.
I'm like, I don't know who these people are, but we don't come from that. We you know how that goes, So I think that's a big thing. I think a lot of people's in their emotions. I think I don't know if it's this generation or other generations, but whatever. But in my generation, we didn't allow you to have an excuse.
Right. There's no excuses. Get it done.
Any excuse was you had to put your gloves on it. Or you got an excuse, you got a situation? Oh, well, go in the room, put your gloves on, man, because this can't happen again.
Right.
This can't happen again. Because you can't come in here, talking about that person just didn't like me and I'm just not going to have another conversation with them. But we got $1 million deal on the table right now. What are you talking about? I've seen people have a deal, $1 million or $10 million deal could be on the table, and those people just be like, "Well, they had closed the deal. It was one email supposed to be sent out, and it wasn't sent out."
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, why wouldn't you send that email out?" Oh, it's because I was behind. A check didn't clear properly on a certain things I didn't do. I said, but you let that whole deal fall through the crack. waistline. After we done been a mega, we've been doing business for a whole year or two, and you let that ball drop. He said, yeah, because I didn't get my money at the timely fashion. I said, yeah, you know, you always been getting your money. What's the problem? He said, I just wanted to have my money, so I let the whole deal fail. I said, you was working on that deal with me for a whole year. I said, but you let it crack just because you didn't want to send an email. So this is some weird people out here.
Yeah.
Real weird. And you have to be very aware of who you have around you, because these people will crash your business. And their feelings and their emotions, because they don't have control over it.
That's heavy.
So you got to be very on point. You know, but
no doubt.
That's my little story. That's my little claim to fame. But we do have this Ruff Ryders to the Rescue program coming through the pipeline.
Let's talk about
it. Ruff Ryders to the Rescue is a 24-hour watch in 4 points of the trouble areas of your city that will be coming near you. So, you know, we know that the youth is a lot of crime going on. So we're going to be part of that, the Guardian Angels. So, you know, I don't know if you ever heard of the Guardian Angels in New York. They used to come out and actually be on ground with people in the community. Level. So, so we're going to start being on ground. Matter of fact, we already hit 4 sites already. So we on ground fully in one site. But we mediate the community as well as the police to make sure that we mediate the police and them coming into these neighborhoods. Diffusing all the shootings and all this craziness, because most of these police that come into those areas are not from those areas, and they you know, the people is not part of the culture, so they'll see a bunch of young kids wilding out, and they don't know nothing but to pull a gun out and draw on them, because they scared of the culture. So we gonna be there to, you know, support and mediate those situations, get more brothers and sisters out to oversee your neighborhood. I call it Man Your Hood on Ground Zero. So we started that program, 24-hour watch. You can check us out on Ruff Ryders to the number 2 rescue.org. You can go and check us out over there. And then you can check us out on our hotline. So we got a hotline that we can definitely let you see that you need to check out. It's 929-529-6828, a 24-hour hotline. So we'll be doing that. And our rescue program is have interrupters. 4 points of the city is 24 soldiers on ground, and those interrupters become mentors for the youth. So they be the ones that actually help the youth do things every weekend together, and entrepreneurship, sports, and having fun, so they can build the camaraderie within the community, because we having the interrupters build family a vibe, right? So the north side, south side, east side. So you got north, south, east, west. We all working in those areas, but we coming together every weekend with the youth to actually do things together, so that we can bridge the gap, so that we can start to get the kids to kind of like be, you know, vibing with each other and doing things positive, instead of them having negative when they do have a negative situation, we can deal with it right there on the spot. And a lot of kids be like, oh, I don't know those kids on the south side, so I don't care about them. And east side don't mess with the north side don't east side. So we bridging that gap, you know what I'm saying? So we call bridging the gap between the streets, the industry, and the politics. Make sure all 3 elements is in effect, bring balance. So we as Ruff Ryders, you know, we got brotherhood and sisterhood all over the world. So we was blessed to be able to bring people together from different walks of life. So what we're looking to do is to bring that element that we already have from in our own community into the hood, and get the hood to actually have a brotherhood connection within, so that we can build a safer community and a better place to live, and support each other for anything that we can, our resources, to bring to the table.
Yeah, that's heavy. That's heavy for sure. And y'all gonna be coming to Memphis, right?
Yeah, I got a big event coming up in Memphis. Anyway, I'm supposed to be coming out there soon. I'm supposed to do a leaders conference, but we definitely going to. So we got chapters there. So we got chapters in every city. So our chapters is going to set it off. So once we ink it over here, we're gonna send it to every city that we have chapters in. So Memphis is definitely on the hit list. Memphis, Tennessee, all that, because our strongest chapters is in Tennessee anyway. One of them. So it's Memphis. Matter of fact, our girl Free is out there, so she's running that show.
Shout
out. We're gonna shout out to Free and the rest of the soldiers out there. So we already have people already on ground. So when we present it to them, we're gonna present it to them, to the members, and then we're gonna present it to the community too, and then we're gonna bridge the gap. So now your city is your chapter now. Before it was just you. It was just that chapter was just the Ruff Ryders. Now your city is the chapter. We're gonna recruit the whole city to make it our chapter.
There you go.
You know,
that's heavy. That's heavy. And my guy, Dr. Earl Fisher, shout out to him, man, in the comments. He was on one of the episodes in the past, man, and I'd love to be able to link him up with your movement as well. He's heavy here in Memphis doing, some heavy work. It parallels a lot with what you're talking about there, Waz. So I definitely want to link you up. I'm gonna, with your people. I'm gonna get them linked up with you, but. Man, this has been tremendous, and all those links that you gave, while they're gonna be in the show notes. So MYB, you make sure click on the links. Get in tune with the movement, right? And let Wah and his people know that you heard him here on the Minding Your Business podcast. I want to share a quick personal story with you, Wah, before I let you go. I shared this with you, kind of off the live, man, but I got into some trouble, man, over that second DMX album, man, that Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood. I was at a suburban store, man, here in Memphis. Young dude, man. I went to get that album, and again, for the young folks, man, this is back when you had to actually go to the store, and you had to have your cash money, and you bought the album. I bought the CD. I went back there to buy it, man, and I showed up on the camera there. I guess apparently this store had some issues with people stealing, man. And so I go back there and they showed me the thing on the camera. They seen me, like, I guess what the dudes was doing was, taking stuff from back there and then, going in a spot where the camera didn't show. So they see my leg, and I got the CD. I'm walking up to the front, and all of a sudden the police start walking towards me. And I'm thinking they're going to walk past me, going to the back. They say, come with me. Like, man, what the hell you talking about? I got the money in my hand. He tried to take that.
Get you set up, man.
Yeah, man. So they take me in the little room, man, and then this fat white cop comes walking up. He's like, he act like he know who I am and stuff. Ron, we have a lot of fucking problems up here, and tell me about this guy. Tell me, man, I don't know who you talking about, man. I'm up here to buy a CD. I don't know what you talking about. You know what I mean? So I get kind of booked with him. So then he don't like that. So then he take me out, and he wanted to, show it. He wanted to make a show. So he gonna walk me through the store to take me out through the back where the car stereo stuff was. So he wanted to show everybody in the store like he got me and whatever. So man,
he trying to showcase you. Did he cuff you? Did he handcuff you?
Yeah, he cuffed me. Yeah, he handcuffed me. He walked me like a criminal, man.
Trying to let everybody. He trying to make an example out of you.
Yeah, so we got that handled on the back end, with the a suit and everything, got it taken care of. But yeah, man, I still went back and bought. Yeah, it was all worth it.
CD.
Yeah, I still came back and got my CD though. And it was that second X album, man, which, like you say, it was incredible when y'all made that history of having 2 #1 albums, in one calendar year, man. That's.
Yeah, we had a bet for that joint, man. We had a bet for $1 million that we couldn't do it. But we threw an album, mixed, mastered, and ready to go in 15 days. Because we was on a mission. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
So we put that album out back real quick. Boom. That album was done, man. We made $1 million just on that delivered, mixed, mastered, delivered, and put in stores. Right. It'll never be done. Nobody put no albums back to back like that. 2 albums back to back #1 albums in one year. It was, matter of fact, it's every 3 months, 4 months.
Right, exactly. Yeah. It was extremely quick, man. Nobody had really done that. You got Pac did the stuff with the All Eyes on Me and the whatnot, but no one had really put out 2 like completely separate albums like that quickly after after one that was already so hot and with platinum so quick, and then boom, we still on the first album, and then boom, here we go, we get information about the second album. We're like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, I'm still on the first joint. So man, the good thing is.
You was just getting familiar with this dog and let her hot.
Right. But we still had the Ruff Ryder anthem still going, man. We in the clubs and everything. We going around with that, and then boom, good thing is we had the CD changer back then, man, and that you used to mount in the truck. So man, that was 2 of the discs right there. You had the 6 or the 12 disc changer. So I had the 12 disc changer. 2 of them was DMX right off the bat.
Yeah, they was doing it down there, but I know we had a lot of love down there in Memphis and all that. I know down on that side, we had a lot of fun down there, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. It was always love, man. It was always love because, like you say, it was authentic, right? And that's what appeals to us down here is that authenticity. You know what I mean? And
it was real, man. When we came to do this thing, we did it as family. When we did it so raw, it was just like, how you gonna not miss with DMX? He's the rawest you gonna get.
Right.
And then, we already was street heavy. So
right.
And then we put the bikes in it. We had the bike culture.
Right.
So we turned up with the anthem. That was the first video you probably seen us with, one of the first videos, right?
Yeah, it was the anthem.
Get At Me, Dog.
Yeah, Get At Me Dog was actually the first one I saw. And right at the same time, then I seen the anthem.
When you seen that Get At Me, Dog, what you doing that anthem? What you was thinking?
Oh man, it was crazy because like the Get At Me Dog, that's the one that y'all filmed, I think in the tunnel for those that, from the old school, going up to New York up there, and it was so raw, you know what I mean, flashing black and white video, boom, and he gave you really what X was giving was kind of that energy that Pac had, you know what I mean, but then he's giving you the kind of the flow kind of Biggie with the lyricism. You know what I mean? And the ability to tell stories. You know what I mean? And so he kind of would, to me, in my opinion, X was kind of blending those two together. It was like both of them kind of coming together in one dude, And so, man, then when, the anthem came, of course it was blazing up the radio and all that while, but, it was just the energy, and then you could hear the lyrics. And then, as you go on and you listen to X, you listen to Locks, you listen to Eve, you listen to Drag, you listen to, everybody coming through there. The Down Bottom hit when I was in college.
Down
and
Bottom.
Then oh man, and then y'all hit the thing with Juvie. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, we loved the Juvie joint. That Down Bottom with Juvie was crazy.
Yeah, and Swizz was just nasty on the beats, man. God, you know what I mean? He was just, that whole production that y'all had, that you have, man, it was just, like I said, all that was heavy, bro. So
we was just we was 10 years in the making, man. 10, 12 years in the making.
Yeah.
We had a lot of music. We was ready to go to war. We just needed that break. We got our break, and we was blessed. It was sky's the limit.
And then y'all were working with some of everybody, man. You had the joint with Snoop.
Yeah, we did the Snoop Scarface joint, the World War III joint.
Oh yeah. Oh, the war. Oh yeah, the war. Oh man, the war. That still come on nasty now.
That was
that still come on. Oh man, that still come on nasty. Oh man.
We was.
That still comes on nasty.
Yeah, once you get a rhythm, once you get a zone.
Yeah.
Once you got that formula and you got that zone and everybody clicking, it just starts flowing like water. You know what I'm saying? It's just
facts.
Everything just starts flowing. Because you had so much time to rehearse and prepare. Right. In that 10, 12 years that when you got your break, it just, everybody just knew what to do. It was clockwork.
No doubt.
Under pressure, some people break under pressure. We was enjoying every bit of it.
Yeah.
We didn't sleep for like 8 years straight, though, after that, when we got our first break.
Yeah.
No sleep. It was no sleep. Everybody had to
just
work.
Moving. Yeah, you just moving.
We didn't have social media because we had to be out and about. We couldn't even, if we had social media, imagine what had happened. We would have had social media at that time.
Oh man, if you had given X social media back in 97 and 98, oh man, really the whole roster. You know what I mean? You talk like even if Eve, people forget, man. They see Eve on these shows and stuff like that doing a thing, man. But Eve wasn't nothing to play with either. You know what I mean? the whole roster, the whole roster.
She was a serious girl now.
Yeah.
We would have had social media. We probably would have had 100 billion followers. Because we was putting on a show. We made a movie out there for them, man.
Right.
We was entertaining, man, to the highest level, man. And we just knew how to move. If you notice, none of our artists got shot, killed, or nothing. Because we just knew how to move. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and while let me hit on this, because something else that's legit too that you didn't say was you never had like these beat. How not to bring up other names, but how artists and labels and stuff get into all these beefs and all this publishing and all this other stuff. You didn't really hear that with y'all, whether it's from X to Eve, and everybody goes through their ups and downs. But because y'all had that family oriented business, even with locks, being able to move on and stuff like that, you and I think Master P was could be lumped into this, and some others. Y'all always were accommodating to the point that you could be, to allow people to be themselves and do their own thing. Like you never tried to box nobody in or try to use the business to try to create this wedge, you know what I mean? So shout out to y'all for that, man, because
we didn't abuse our power, basically. We let everybody win. It made a win-win situation, even though we was learning the business at the same time. We made a lot of mistakes in the process of it, but we always wanted everybody to win on some level, so
and look at your artists.
Listen.
Yeah, no doubt. And look how your artists, look what they've all gone on to do, man. People from the Ruff Ryders umbrella. You talk about those folks, and you got the chapters all the way, all around, and look how it continues even today, 2021. To a company that you started back in 1988. You know what I mean? And how it's still.
We one hit away from making it happen all over again. All we gotta do is just set it off.
Right.
And they give us social media, man. I don't know, man. I'm gonna put my Timbs back on for this one. The new millenniums, man. I'm gonna put my Timbs back on. I don't want to do it. So, we got soldiers everywhere, so we ready now. We got the Millennium Young Riders coming through the pipeline. So
there you go.
We be doing that program. Shout out to Little Y, Medium Y, and all the young, and Darryl and all them. So that we got my coming through the pipeline. They getting ready to start the Young Rider movement. So that's getting ready to go live. So all of y'all that want to, be part of something bigger than just yourself and be part of family, start to check out the youngriders.com. Go online and start to get familiar, sign up, because that's what it's all about, the youth, the next generation, passing the baton and giving them our resources and our information so that they can have their own community that they can work with to make a difference.
Yeah. No doubt, man. And that's a nice way to kind of wrap this up, Wad, to be honest with you, man, is that next generation. And, being able to see that, with, a company, again, that starts in 1988 that has legacy, right? That's, continues to grow, continues to evolve. And, like you say, other generations are able to, to leverage the brand and the culture, right? And what you stand for, the morals, the ethics. Right, and have that instilled in the next generation, man. I think it's heavy, man. It's tremendous. So shout out to you and your entire team for that.
Thank you. I appreciate you, Ron, and keep this good work coming up, man. Let us know if anything. We'll be coming your way soon.
Yeah,
can't wait to get to Memphis.
Yeah, I'm gonna be in tune, man. I look forward to meeting you when you come through, you and your team, and remain connected, man. So this has been tremendous, very heavy for me, Wah, and I appreciate you taking time out to talk to me in this community
appreciate you
about everything that you got going on, man. So blessings to you and your family. Peace, positive energy, positive vibes, and we're gonna catch you next time, my brother.
Salute everybody.
Salute to you.
Right,
yes, sir. Be great, brother. Yes, sir. Woo. That was real, huh? That was Joaquin Dean, founder and CEO of Ruff Ryders Entertainment and the Ruff Ryders to the Rescue Foundation. Man, that was epic, man. That was lit. Tremendous brother from a tremendous family and everything that they're doing, man, in the community. And I want to make sure that he came on because a lot of people don't know a lot of the things that Wah and his family and team have done. You know, you hear about Ruff Ryders, you hear about the music and all those type of things with the artists, but you know, there's so much that goes along with that encompasses that whole entire culture. It's just tremendous. So check the show notes for all the different links and that sort of thing, and connect with Wah and his entire team over at Ruff Ryders, man. Just tremendous and heavy. You know, and I enjoy all these interviews where I get a chance to talk to everyone. You know, from Wah all the way around to all of you that are listening, that have been gracious enough to be a guest on this particular podcast, man. It's just tremendous, and I love you all for your support, and for coming on and sharing gems and your stories with the MYB community. Don't forget, ChampronBrooks.com. Make sure you check me out there. Make sure that you text me, 312-847-4071. I'd love to be able to connect with you directly. No bots, no BS, no none of that. You know, let's connect. I like to share resources that come across that I have and that other people that come on this podcast share with me from our many guests. And so, listen, we're going to get out of here. Shout out again to Joaquin Dean, founder and CEO of Ruff Ryders Entertainment and the Ruff Ryders to the Rescue Foundation. I'm your host, Champ Ron. Listen, there's three things that unite us, right? Three things that unite us all together. We all want to be a little bit better for ourselves, a little bit better for our families, and a little bit better for our communities. And if we keep that in mind with everybody that we come across, then we'll all collectively make this place just a little bit better. All right? Y'all go be great. Champ Ron, the Mind Your Business podcast.